what's up, people? Welcome back to the Refuse to Fail podcast. New name, same great quality guest, and it doesn't stop today. We've got another cracker on today. We've got light welterweight 2021 AIBA World Champ Bronze, first Scottish person to ever get a senior age medal. 2022 Commonwealth gold medalist. He's still only 21 years old, and he's currently ranked number 2 in the world at his weight class. I'm joined by Reese Lynch. How are you, my man? Are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Surviving and thriving, mate. Monday night, you can't beat it. Monday night, chatting some sport.
I know. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Thanks for joining me. Fresh off the flight from Denver. How was your training camp?
Yeah, it was good, mate. Obviously the high altitude and stuff like that, it makes it a lot harder. Sparring with top class boys as well. They're all brilliant over there. So, good sparring, and the gym was roasting as well. It was warm, so warm in the gym, so it just made it that much harder. But it was a brilliant camp, and I like America. It's a cool place, isn't it?
Nice. You must be buzzing to get back to nice cold Scotland then. I don't know about where you are just now, but I had to defrost the car again this morning. So
yeah, Colorado was actually colder. It was like -10 and that in the mornings. I can remember the first run that we done outside. I was close to crying, to be honest. My hands were all like stuck together, and it was cold, but it was warm during the day. That was a good bit.
That's the main bit. And like you said, you got away, sparred great boys, got better. So
yeah,
a good asset. You just got back. We're going to talk about the most recent thing first before we go back right into the start of the Reese Lynch story. But so you're just back from Abu Dhabi and you're fighting over there just at the end of December there. How was that experience just being over there just before Christmas?
No, it was good. It was brilliant. Obviously different. Just that place is completely different as well. Like the hotels and stuff that we were in were just top class. And then I got to fight. So it was like a kind of pro series. They were kind of doing it more like a pro fight rather than amateur. So I done 5 3-minute rounds. Obviously the smaller I've got the gloves there. So obviously they're a bit smaller than the amateur gloves as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're more like the pros, a bit harder and stuff. So it was a good experience. Obviously boxing with my top off as well, and I was fighting at a catch weight. I wasn't at my weight, so I was still a bit flabby. It was a last minute thing. So, I wasn't in my best of shape, but a couple of photos I look half decent.
But, as long as the arms still look good for like the double bicep at the end of it, that's what's important.
As long as the arms look half decent, I've got a couple ribs showing.
That'd be my biggest fear. I'd be walking around like holding my breath in it. I'd look like a 6 months pregnant man, so I'd be like, nah, I've got to keep the vest on. Sorry, lad.
Yeah, mate, that's it. You need to look half decent, don't you?
That's class. Like, I can imagine. So you said you were in like the good hotels in Abu Dhabi, but it's like, how was it doing like the 5-minute rounds for you then? Because that must have been different. Because obviously you've been very focused on 3-round fights just now.
Yeah. So it was good. I probably tried to adapt to it too much. I probably thought it was going to be like completely different. So I slowed right down. I didn't perform my best, to be honest. I should have kind of kept the pace up. Usually how I box in 3 minutes. I kind of tried to adapt it too much, thinking about it a bit too much. But it was still good. It was really good. It was obviously good to experience it. I think I'm the first Scottish boy to be on something like that as well. Kind of like that's a new thing. So I think they're going to try and do more of them as well, which hopefully they do, because it was a really good event. Got to get a belt as well. I don't know if you can see that there.
I was going to say, I was admiring that in the background there. I was about to bring it up. It's a tasty title. That it looks good as well. Like some of them look a bit naff, but like that even looks class.
Yeah, that's good. I think have you seen the WBC belts? I think
WBC, I have.
A statement. I think they put out a statement saying that they didn't condone that because obviously it's kind of a copy, but it's not the same, is it?
It's not the same, and it still looks good in the victory shed there as well. You've got some quite good stash out there, and it actually leads me nice into one of the first questions I gave you a prep for. What's your favourite bit of memorabilia that you've managed to get in your journeys?
I'd probably go with the. I've got two. It's got to be two. The world bronze. That's probably my favourite, kind of just for the history wise and stuff like that. But the Commonwealth gold medal is just unreal. That was probably one of my favourite. It's probably been the best trip I've ever been on as well. Just with obviously the whole Scotland team, like we all made history by getting kind of the best medal haul that Scotland's ever had. So That was probably my favourite one. Yeah,
that's class. I love that. And then you've got a nice little spot there just above the belt, and underneath that photo of you, is that you hugging a coach up there at the very top?
Yeah. So that's my old coach. I've moved club now,
right.
But that was when I was at Spring Hill. So the man on my left, your right, I believe. That's Frank Delaney. So that's my old club coach. And then the one that you can't really see the face, that's my brother. That's my brother Peter.
Oh, class.
So he's my main coach really. Well, obviously I train with GB, so they're my main coaches. But anytime I'm back up here, that's who I train with, my brother.
Oh, that's class. And I love that you've got that like at the top as well. I think that really cements it when you have it at the top. But you have a nice wee gap in there. So what's like, have you got a wee bit of memorabilia you're looking to add in there in that wee space? Are you saving that for something special?
Yeah. That wee space is going to be the Olympic medal, hopefully.
I love that. That's class.
Olympic medal, and then when I turn pro, I'll need to find some more space for the.
Get a second shed. Shed.
I need to build a new shed for it.
Mate, that's class. And I love that dedication as well. And then don't get me wrong, we're going to talk all about Paris and the plans for that. But I'm going to change up the order because I love this, because that's the best bit about doing podcasts. You write out how you think the podcast is going to go, and then somebody says something so interested. So tell me about getting coached by your brother, because like I can imagine not taking any advice from my brothers regardless. Like my brother's a PE teacher, and he can tell me how to teach PE and I'll still ignore him and say I can do it better. So like, what's it like having your brother as a coach?
I enjoy it. I think I kind of embrace him and my brother as my coach as well, because he's probably kind of more. I'd more listen to him. Right. Just I've been brought up with my brothers, my mum, my dad, and stuff like that. I've got two brothers, so they've always kind of kept me right and kept me kind of like that, like on the straight and narrow as well. So just having him there and like he's telling me what to do, I'll actually listen to him like more. And then probably the best bit about being my brother as well is like he can say whatever he wants to me as well, and I'll just take it. You know what I mean? Like he knows he can say whatever he wants. If he wants to give me a bother, he can. And then I just need to take it, don't I? So it's probably better for me as well.
Is he an older brother or a younger brother?
He's the older brother. Yeah, I'm the youngest. So it goes me, then my brother Dean, and then Ped, the coach. He's the older.
All right, that's okay then. I was going to say, it's like if he was a younger brother, like that would be quite tough. But I suppose that's quite good in the way, because he must be able to sort of like he understands you on like you say, like a sort of different level. So you might think you're absolutely finished, and he's like, "No, you've got like 10 more reps in you or something."
Yeah. So he kind of knows what I'm capable of as well, and kind of what I can achieve and stuff like that. So it's good having him there. It's good. I like coming back here, and when I get back for GB and stuff, I like to train with. Just make sure I'm still training with my brother as well, because obviously he does know me the best, to be honest. So
is he more like fitness? Like you say, you've got GB that's doing the main coach, but is he more fitness based, or is he also boxing based as well? Nah,
he's boxing. Yeah, so he's kind of got his own camp as well. He started coaching at Spring Hill with me. He actually started training with me at first, coming up just training for fitness. And then, but he used to train fitness. Like he used to go to boxing clubs. He used to play football, where like he played with Chelsea and stuff like that when he was a youth, like a pro youth Chelsea stuff like that. So I think he used to do like boxing just for training. And then he took me up to a boxing club up to Spring Hill. I started training there, and he came up with me, and then he started coaching for that. So, and now he's got like Kieran Smith. Craig McIntyre and Scott Allen, so he's kind of like his own wee pro setup as well, along with training me.
you showed yourself a bit short there. He's like, oh, he's got this pro setup and me. He's like world number two ranking. You're all right. That's quite good. So that always explains it, because I always wonder how people get into boxing, because it normally is like a sort of family event. And it's like there's very few where it's a kid who goes, I want to do boxing, and like you see the traditional mums and dads are like, oh, he's gonna come home like either black and blue, or he's gonna come home like raging about something. But it's like, so it's like, did your brother sort of introduce you to it, or what?
Sorry, what was that?
What was that? Did you say your mum loved it?
I think my mum loves watching me get beat up. I think if she likes watching me get hit. No, I'm only joking. But she doesn't mind it.
Oh, that's good. It's good that your mum supports it and stuff like that, because it's like you were saying there. Your brother did it for fitness, but there's so much discipline in boxing. Like it's kind of universally known as one of the more disciplined sports. So did that did that instill in you at quite a young age then, especially with your brother coaching you, I imagine?
Yeah, so kind of just I think he just took me up to toughen me up a bit when I was younger. I think he wanted me to do something as well. I used to play football. Obviously, I tried to follow in his footsteps, but I was terrible at football. So he said that he used to take me on the pads and that when I was younger, like when I was really young. He just used to muck about with me, take me on the pads. I used to love it. And then obviously I couldn't kick a ball, so he thought I'll put a bit of boxing gloves on and see if you can do something. So he took me up, and then obviously just trained, like kept going to training all the time. With my brother there as well, it kind of pushed you on to, especially because I knew that he was wanting me to like do well and stuff. So it kind of pushed you on to keep going up, and then I loved it as well. So.
So what was the first time you were properly in like a boxing gym training then? Like when you're not just like on the pads, were you about like primary school age?
So I was hitting the pads like when I was like 7 and stuff like that, and then I'm from Falthouse, so I went to the Falthouse Boxing Club for a while, but I was at I kind of was at that age. I didn't enjoy that much then. I was wanting to sit and play Xbox and that, so and then I kind of stopped going there for a bit, and then my brother, so Peter's wife, her brother is Kieran Smith, so he was going to Spring Hill, so they were there was boxing in there as well in their family, and then Ped took me up to Spring Hill, and I loved it at that gym. It was just the atmosphere and stuff like that was brilliant, and everybody was like nice, kind of because you knew kind of knew people as well. Like obviously Kieran's dad Paul was there, so I was getting like the time of day there as well. They were like trying to work on stuff with me and that as well.
So you had somebody there sort of like keeping an eye on you as well, so you weren't just like going through it.
Yeah. So somebody there like actually taking me on pads and like just it was like they were spending more time with me up there a wee bit.
That's class. It sounds like a good gym as well. Like obviously that's just churning out talent. So
yeah.
Did you sort of I know that's like a really like a question that probably wasn't a really young head at the time, but were you really aware of the sort of talent around you, or were you just like, oh, this is just like a standard benchmark of how every gym is? Because you've only been in full Springwood.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Obviously, when I went to Spring Hill, it wasn't like
not Springwood.
I didn't know if like at the time when I went up, I probably didn't know the I knew they were good, if you know what I mean, but like I was just going to train and kind of like I was going to try and do it, but it wasn't until I started boxing and stuff and like proper, like once I had my first competition, I was paying attention to like everybody else in the gym. Like obviously Wally Hutchison and stuff like that was there as well. He won the Worlds as a youth. He actually got a gold medal at the Worlds as a youth, so it had some serious talent at the gym. And it isn't until you start getting older and kind of like you've had a few fights that you realise like how much talent you're being brought up around, and that probably helps as well having that around you.
It must, because that's just like the standard is set so high. Like what you consider a standard training session, other clubs might look at it and go, "That's elite. We don't do nearly any of that." So.
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant gym. There was a good buzz about it. I mean, I started going when I was like 10, about 10, 11, probably 10 to be honest. So, you were probably young at that time to like realise it. But then once you start boxing and you've had fights, competitions and stuff, and you start to know them as well. Like you start to know them more, like the people that are in the gym. Then you realise like how dedicated and how good they are at the sport.
That's class. When was your first competition?
My first competition was when I was 11. So
that's quite a quick turnaround then. That's like what? So you're 7 when you're sort of hitting the pads, but you're properly training about 9 or 10, and then competing by 11.
Yeah, so it was quick. My first, I started boxing when I was boxing competitively when I was 11 because that's in fact, to be honest, I probably had like, you do like exhibitions and stuff on the home shows. So I probably had one of them when I was like 10, because you can't officially fight until you're 11. So I probably had like one of them, but my first like competitive fight was when I was 11. Yeah.
Class. How was that experience? Do you remember much from that day, or were you just buzzing just to get on?
Yeah, I can't really remember much of it, to be honest. I boxed in the Scottish when I was 11 as well and got beat. So I was kind of at the start. I had like it was like my record wasn't that good. I was probably because I was a more boxer, and then like you get these young guys that are just tough and ready, and they
Just like
just
feral.
over you. You've got like a minute. You've got like a minute to. Yeah, it's like 1 minute rounds when you're that age. So
Mhm.
you need to just be quick and go for it. To be honest, and that wasn't me.
That's at least you're trying to think about it like an actual boxer though. You weren't just going in. I'm just going to go and swinging for a minute and then just.
Yeah. I was trying to box and I was getting beat up. So
it's toughened you up, and then you seem to have done all right. So might have just been a master plan from the coaches. Just like, oh, if we just get his ass handed to him when he's younger, he won't go like all cocky when he's like 16.
That's it. Teach him how to box, and then he'll maybe beat them when it goes into the longer rounds.
It sounds like it works, and I think a few people have to take it as a bit of mantra because it's clearly working, as you say, with your gold medal behind you and space for another one in Paris.
Hopefully, yep.
So I like to do a sort of comparison when we do these podcasts. I like to do what Reese Lynch, the athlete's up to, as Reese Lynch, the person, sort of going along at the same time. So as you're coming up through school and you're in boxing like that, how does it affect you in school? Because obviously it's like this is probably more when you got to high school at this point, but obviously it's like kids are going through like puberty and stuff. Everybody seems to be angry all the time.
Yeah.
How is it when you're boxing? Like, do you get people like sort of like trying it on in that like school, or like do you get like this reputation with you when you're like a boxer at school?
That it wasn't actually too bad. My school was good. I probably got you probably got a bit more respect, to be honest. Some people that maybe in primary when I said that I was a boxer, I'd be like you just be like, yeah, you're a boxer now, or like you just get bullied for it. But like, once I was going to high school and getting we're picking up medals and stuff like that and doing well, you get the respect for like everyone around you. To be honest, people that didn't like me when I was younger started liking me. You know what I mean? So you kind of got that reputation where you, and I'm not a bad person either. So I'm kind of chill, to be honest. I wasn't a kid going out starting fights and that. I'm just trying to stay out the way. That I do enough of that when I'm in the ring. So
it's like if people are paying to watch you fight normally. Like don't hand that entertainment out for free.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't be bothered fighting outside. Never mind in the ring. Sorry, I can't. You couldn't be bothered fighting outside because I do it in the ring. So,
mate, fair play. And then I love that as well. It's like you're sort of saying it's like it just keeps you sort of calm. And how is it like when you're trying to do a school? Because obviously, like we discussed, boxing is a very disciplined sport. How often are you training when you were at school? Are you training like 3-4 times a week, or?
Yeah. So when I was at school, it was kind of I would train Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That would be at the club. So I'd finish school, go home, have my dinner. I'd maybe have like an hour if that, and then I'd be getting ready and going to the gym. So I had that as well. And then on the once I started getting on the Scotland squad, you were training on the Saturday. And then if you had like a tournament coming up as well, they'd do like camps. So you'd be there from I think it was Saturday, Sunday. You'd be there. So you'd go the Saturday, stay the Saturday, and then train this Sunday as well, stuff like that. So that was like when I was younger. So I was always busy training, kind of always in the gym and stuff like that. Kind of ways around it to fit it in.
You got to get some Call of Duty numbers up there as well. Like you've got to have that respect on the playground. So you've got to have like a good KD. How's that? I can imagine that's actually really tough to try. Do like you say, it's like a training camp, even though you're only staying the Saturday. But when did you first start getting onto the Scotland squad?
So I first got on 2014. I won my first Scottish, and then I boxed in the GB Championships that year. So that was with the Scotland squad, and then and then the year after that, I got beat by a good lad as well, Harry Peacock. So he was brilliant as a schoolboy and stuff like that. So he beat me in the Scottish the next year in 2015, and then so I missed out that year basically on anything to do with Scotland. I was still going in and maybe going into the training sessions on the Saturday and stuff, but I wasn't like getting picked or anything. And then 2016, I beat Harry in the Scottish again, so we were at the same weight again. I beat him in the Scottish, and then from there on, I was in the Scottish final. And then from there on, I just kept going. So 2016 was the first time that I actually went to a European Games as well. So that was like the first time I had properly boxed for Scotland, like internationally.
Well, that's pretty impressive. How old would you have been at 2016? You can't have been
fifth, like 14, 15, something like that, I think. Maybe even
that's a huge weight on your shoulders to put a thistle on at that age.
Yeah. Yes, that was junior. So junior, you're kind of, well, youth, you'd be 16 and 17. So 15, 14, yeah, so probably about 14 or something like that.
That's wild. What's it like when you're getting called up to a squad at that age?
Just buzzing in you, really, just because you're getting a pick. I mean, the first tournament I went to was the Europeans as well. The first international tournament was the Europeans in Hungary, so it's just a completely different experience for anything else that you do in boxing, because obviously you're just used to going to like Ravenscraig and Motherwell, and then and then like going down England or Wales. That was kind of like the furthest I would have went. So jumping on a plane and actually going away with the squad and stuff like that, it was a good experience.
That sounds class, and that sounds so good as well. Was it? I always find this interesting, the point when people start to realise there's a future in a sport, because I don't know whether boxing's maybe a bit different, but it's, for example, like, so what I know is rugby, and that's always like, that was just the fun thing we did on a Saturday with your mates. When did it start to look to you like you're like, oh, there's a future in this? Or did other people have to point that out to you, or did it sort of click in your own head that they're like, there's an opportunity here?
I don't really know. I kind of feel like there was never really a moment in time, because I've been asked this before, and I can't really think of, like, there's never anything that sticks in my mind that like I noticed. I think I was just kind of like, just with my brother being there around with me and all that. I think I kind of believed it the whole time when I started. Just kind of like, once I started fighting and stuff, obviously because you've got, like, I had that kind of group of people around me, and then I had a bit of talent when I was younger. I wasn't amazing, but like I had kind of like the fundamentals and stuff. So, but probably like, if I was to pick some time, it would have been like the Scottish. Like, once I'd won the Scottish, and then that was probably kind of when I believed in myself a bit more and stuff like that. Because then obviously I then lost the Scottish next year, but I still kept going, and then I won it after that. So and I've won it every time since then.
So how was I mean, obviously, like, you've clearly bounced back because you keep winning it after that, like you've said. But how did those emotions weigh up on each other? So obviously, you had the ecstasy of the first win, and then how did it then feel then getting that loss? Like, which moment do you feel maybe sort of built you more as like a professional in that sort of aspect? I know you're still doing the amateur side of boxing, but it's like, did you get that real emotional connection with boxing at that point?
Yeah, probably like, that losing the Scottish that year would probably have like driven me on a bit more as well. And then obviously just winning in boxing in general, like, it doesn't matter what you win, or just when you get your hand raised, it's like a completely different feeling compared to anything else. Like, it's just a buzz. So that's probably kind of what drives you on as well, just that feeling of getting your hand raised, really. It's nothing like it.
Nice. Does that stay with you for a long time as a victory? Obviously, we're going to discuss your more famous and well-known victories later on in the show, but does that feeling of that boxing victory, does it stay with you for a while, or is it like the next day you're like back to work? Or
yeah, it probably is like that, to be honest. You kind of you maybe feel it for a couple of days, and then this is gone. It's just back to training again. So it doesn't stay with you for that long, the victory. You need to keep working and get a new one.
I was gonna say, it might be quite hard to celebrate a victory if your brothers put you back in pads and next thing you know, you're sparring again.
Exactly. You just need to go back to it and start training again.
That's class. Oh, I love hearing that as well, because I think do you do a good job of trying to take in the events as they happen? Like, do you really try to stay awake in the moment?
Yeah. Especially like the Commonwealth Games and stuff like that. Just being there, that's probably the one that I've took in the most, to be honest. Just because you were in obviously because of COVID, they didn't have a village or that, so we were in just hotels, and then like just try to take it in all while you're there as well, and kind of enjoy the most of it. Like, there was games rooms and stuff like that, so you could you had your downtime like you'd fight and then you'd come back and like you'd go down to like the games room with the boys and play. There was like table tennis and stuff like that. So we were taking in different sports as well.
That must have been fun until the table tennis boys turned up and you're like, this is embarrassing at this point.
Yeah, that's it. We had Sean Lazzarini. He's pretty good at table tennis actually. He was playing all the other countries that play table tennis, trying to beat them. So it was good.
I love the thought of all those people in the room like getting that competitive nature together, because like you say, you're just maybe having downtime and next thing you know you've got like its own wee private sort of Commonwealth games going on in the relaxation room.
You've got all the competition, putting bets on and that.
You've got the unofficial Commonwealth in Scotland. Have got 3 gold medals at table tennis every day in a row.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man, I'd love to be a flyer now. I reckon that'd be more interesting than half the shows going on half the time, because like you just get people being themselves. It'd be like no media training. Like you'd just be giving it sort of big licks after you got a point.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Sean was giving it to the real players. He was trying to give them that, try to put them off their game and that. It was good.
We'll talk about the Commonwealth Games a bit later, but I've got so many questions because I find it such an interesting spectacle, and the fact that like all these sports are going on at the same time in this place, and it is almost like impossible to watch because you need about like 7 tellies on the go to make sure you don't miss anything. Yeah, but it's like I want to talk a bit more about, because the thing I like to do on this show is let people correct common stereotypes about their sport, because everyone has their weird rumours that come out of them, and I think boxing is the one that gets a really bad rap for having a really, like at the entry level, it's associated with really bad people. Yeah. But then as you go up, it sort of changes. But do you find that in boxing? Because like obviously everybody you've spoken about so far sounds lovely, switched on, committed to it, and going like that. So it's like, do you have anything to say to these people that just say, "Oh, boxing's for thugs"? Is effectively, because I've written down the stereotypes you find when you type in "is boxing for da da da," who does boxing da da da. Do you find like that's a really just a common misconception about boxing that these stereotypes come from?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone that I've met in boxing is just like well, not everyone. You obviously get your few that are a bit different, but usually everyone that you meet is like respectful and like disciplined and stuff like that as well. And you don't really like, even down at GB, like I go down. I've got competition with Joe Tyers, so he's the English lad at my weight, and like even like down there and with him, like we're mates as well. It's not like I don't know where people would get that from. To be honest, they kind of like misconceptions. It's mad because everyone's just respectful, and you see it after they fight each other as well. It's like they're hugging and embracing and stuff like that as well. So it's not. There's not really many thugs in it, to be honest. You get your odd one or two that are the mouthy ones and stuff like that, but most of the time it's just respect.
I love it. I couldn't agree more. As I was mentioning before we came on air, I had Joe Hughes on, who's he's going to kill me for this. I think he's Yorkshire based. If he's not, I'm sure he'll let me know. But when he sees this, he'll be like, "Don't you ever say I'm from there again." But he was saying the same thing as you. He had I don't know how Spring Hill did it, but he had a thing where if he got people in the gym that he was training and he thought they were using it for the wrong reason, like he's like, "I'm not training a fighter to go out and start fights on a Saturday."
Yeah.
He would like immediately cut them out of the gym. He's like, "Nah, you're not coming back in. Like this isn't the place for you." What's it like? Like, do you guys have that same ethic there, where you're like, if you're in here, this is how we do it, and this is the way we do it?
Yeah. Even really any gym that I go to, you're kind of taught that for a young age anyway. Even at like Rob Roy, that's obviously my club now as well. It's just kind of the same. Like if you're not there and you're not doing it for the right reasons, or say like you're not listening and stuff like that, you're not taking like the stuff on board that they're telling you, then they'll just tell you basically that like this isn't for you, kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? So and you're always kind of taught that as well. Like once you're a boxer, your hands are weapons and stuff like that. The class is weapons and stuff like that as well. So like you kind of it's drilled into you for even the coaches and anyone around boxing. They all kind of know that you've not to. That's not what it's to be used for. It's a sport. And so yeah, you kind of get taught that. Yeah.
I think it's a really good lesson for people as well. It's like just because you can doesn't mean like it's a thing. Like like I think you summed it up perfectly when you feel like I do enough fighting in the ring. I don't need to do it anywhere else. So.
Yeah. You do enough fighting in the ring. I don't want to get punched anywhere else.
not had a chance to put my gum shield in, and I've got good teeth.
I know. They want to ruin this face anymore.
Hey, don't worry, a man knows, like rugby knows that mine's like squint. I think my missus hates when I'm sleeping because I'll just snore because there's like no air goes through that nostril. So you're all right. So that's actually a nice point that comes back onto this. So kind of similar to how we said it, like school, and then you're like, all right, some kids give you a bit more respect than that. Have you ever had it, like, obviously we were talking again before you came in here, you're like, you're finally getting some downtime now because you've been pretty active, but when you are sort of out on the town on a Saturday, there is a lot of these warriors that come out on a Saturday and they're in the wrong places for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Now you get these medals and you're getting a bit more recognition, especially in Scotland, do you get recognised a bit more? And do you ever get people sort of giving you the look as in like, there's no way he's a boxer, and then like you see them just sort of eyeing you up, and like, how do you deal in a situation like that if you have had it?
Yeah, anytime I go out, I don't really get any bother of that. Usually, if I go out locally and stuff like that as well, everybody's like sound. They're just talking.
You're still Reese from like 3 doors over that way, though, right?
Yeah. I'm still just Reese. They're all fine when I go out. Yeah, it'd be like me trying to get away from them because they're talking too much about boxing. And I'm trying, you know what I mean? So usually, I've not really kind of experienced much like that. And then like, if I go out in Glasgow or that as well, I just keep to myself and keep with my mates rather. I kind of avoid the trouble anyway. Just like, so I've never really had any bother when I go out. Kind of more just a chilled guy. I'd rather just go out and enjoy my night. Not get involved in that.
You're a classic like pub and some live music rather than nightclub type scene guy.
I don't know. I like both. If I was to go out, I don't mind. I'm not.
Start in the pub and then go. Oh, that's it.
Aye, both. I'm not picky. I'll go anywhere.
What's your go-to drink? I'll have one. No, I asked you what it is. I know. Just have whatever.
Aye, just anything.
I love that, man. That sounds class. I look forward to the Refuse to Fail end of season night out with you.
Aye, definitely. The Christmas night out.
Mate, I'll fund if a sponsor wants to get involved and fund the Refuse to Fail night out. I'll take as many selfies as you need me to take, and I'll run around with some branding stuff on it. But I fund the Christmas night out for me, Reese, and the gang. That'll be it all. It'll be
we'll get
11 us. So it wouldn't be that expensive.
We'll bring the rest of the Scotland team or something as well. Get a laugh.
Everybody gets +2, so 33 folk. Sorted. Right, there we go. You can be in charge of planning it. You pick the place. I'll just tell everybody to get there.
See, I'll pick the place.
What's it called? What's that bar in Glasgow called? Is it Cat House or whatever it is?
I don't know.
I've heard it's pretty unique in its clientele, so it could be a night out.
Sorted.
Amazing. Right, done. So now that we get back on track after we've now just planned a class night out, which I know we've just planned the Christmas night out, and what day is it? 13th of Feb, so we're sorry, we've got time to get it done.
You've plenty of time to plan.
Exactly. So somebody's got 10 months to hear this and give us a call. So my email's in the social links, you can find it. Right, 2021 AIBA World Champs. How was that? Was that your first senior tournament?
So it wasn't my first senior tournament. It was I had went to like a multi-nation tournament before, so because we had COVID, I didn't get to box senior. Kind of the year the COVID came, that's when I had turned senior. So I was getting ready for my first Scottish, and then obviously COVID happened. I had one senior fight, and then COVID. So I had a year off or something like that, and then I came back, which was good, by the way. I'd say that kind of that COVID, that year off was probably beneficial, to be honest. It was.
I was going to ask you, how was that? Like, did you have to train like throughout, or did you take like a proper year off for boxing altogether?
Yeah, so I still trained. Still trained a bit with my brother. At that time, I was moving clubs. Just before COVID, I was moving. I had just moved to Rob Roy as well, so. It was kind of like that year in my youth, my last year of youth. I was kind of a bit fed up with just the moving clubs and stuff like that, and I don't know. I was kind of struggling a bit with the boxing. So when I moved to Rob Roy, started training there, I started enjoying it a bit more again, and then COVID came as well. So I was still training with my brother. It was like I'd go train with my brother and stuff, and then I'd obviously get the rest of the day off to just chill and do whatever I wanted. My girlfriend stayed with me as well. That kind of during COVID, she moved in with me, so I was just kind of chilling. So I kind of enjoyed that. And then I came back for COVID, and we went to training camps with Scotland. So we went to, I think the first one we went to was down in Brighton, and then we went to Ukraine, and then after Ukraine, we went to, I think it was another tournament. I think my first tournament was one in Serbia anyway. So that was like my first international senior tournament. And I boxed a French kid who he's beat me twice now. Actually, he beat me at the Euros as well. He's good. So I kind of got the ring rust off, and then I had to train. And then I had a few tournaments here and there. Had the under 22s, the Europeans under 22s, and I had another one in Lithuania. And then it was getting.
You're quite well travelled there. You seem to have done a lot of boxing everywhere except Britain.
Yeah, we go everywhere. So because we're boxing internationally as well, we're kind of like at the top level of boxing amateur. It's mainly just like international tournaments you'll go to now. So I don't really do any like club level stuff for that. It's more like if I'm boxing, I'll be in a different country. So into that, but the Worlds was my first ever senior Worlds as well. That was kind of my first ever senior major tournament as well. I obviously had the under 22s, which is a senior, but that's like kind of like an entry senior, if you know what I mean, because it's under 22s. It's not a proper Europeans. So that was like my first proper major senior tournament. Yeah.
Class. And what was the build up to that like? Because obviously you probably would have had that sort of circled on a calendar as like, this is the big one for this sort of 6 months, 8 months time period. How was the build up to there? Like, did you notice I'm training a lot harder for this one? Like, there's like that extra drive. Like, I'm hitting pads harder. I'm doing extra reps. Yeah.
So before it, kind of maybe a month and a bit out before it, 2 months before it, I actually got COVID. I had COVID, so I was stuck in my bed. I couldn't leave. And obviously the other boys had went to a different tournament. They had went to a tournament in I can't actually remember where the tournament was. I think it was like Croatia or something like that. Anyway, they had went to a tournament, and obviously I had to miss it because I had COVID. So kind of getting back into training as well, it was probably a bit harder, to be honest, because I still kind of had the after effects of getting COVID. Like like when I was training, it was like a lot harder than what it was before I got it.
You're blowing that bit quicker and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was like I was getting tired quicker and harder to like breathe and stuff like that. Just for that. So, I was probably training harder, but at the same, I probably felt like I was training harder just because I was that tired for that. But it was definitely a big focus on the Worlds as well, especially because obviously I had the comp at that point in time. I was thinking about the games as well and stuff like that. So it was really what to do well at that, so I could secure my place for the Commonwealth Games and stuff. So it was probably one of the biggest ones that I was looking forward to at that point.
So how was that tournament there? Because like you said, that was it was a Commonwealth Games qualifying effectively is what it was. I don't know if the class is qualifying, but so how were you? Did you have an aim going in for that tournament there? Were you going in there thinking like gold or bust, or were you going like I'm going in to properly just compete, see what happens, and get to the Commonwealth?
Every tournament is kind of gold or bust, to be honest. Any tournament.
That attitude, though, that's what I like.
That's kind of it, really. You just, as soon as you're going into a competition, that's all you're looking towards, and then you're disappointed if you don't get it. So like going in there to the Worlds and getting a bronze. Obviously after the semi-final, when I boxed in the semi-final and I got beat by the Tuck, I was disappointed. But kind of once you look back on it, and like I had a few days until I got my medal as well, so you got to then like realise what achievement I actually made. So it's good, but yeah, it's mainly gold or bust, to be honest.
That's classic. I was going to ask you like how it does when you do get that medal, but like you say, you actually have that wherewithal, which is quite a mature thing to have. To go, oh, I actually like, fair enough, gold or bust was the aim, but I'm still walking out here with a bronze and a sick looking title, so we're not right. How does that affect you though? Like you said, when you lost to the Turkish guy, obviously he's correct me if I'm wrong, he's the one that's ranked ahead of you, isn't it? Because you're world number 2 at your weight, and he's number 1.
Yeah, so in fact we're joint together. I don't know how that's kind of how they've done that. I think it's just the way the tournaments have went.
Right.
We've kind of got the same amount of points, just for where I've went and he's not went and stuff like that.
So why is everybody ranking you as number 2 then?
So we're both joint number 2, and then there's Andy Cruz, who was the Cuban. He's ranked number 1, which is like.
I think the report I was reading today from December was saying you were number 2 and he's number 1.
Nah, so, I'd put him number 1 just because Andy Cruz is he's went pro.
All right, okay.
So he's boxing pro now, so he's not really there, but he's still ranked. He's still still ranked there. He's still in the rankings. So me and
so is he only going to just drop down just by not competing for a while, then just like the points just drop off? Right?
Yeah, or if they might take him out eventually once they realise that he's not going to box amateur, or he might come back. No, I don't think he will, because he would have had to have leave Cuba to go. He would have had to have like defected Cuba to go pro, because they don't let them turn pro over there. So.
Yeah, of course they don't, do they? No, you have to. Is it the States you have to go to for a kilo?
Yeah, they basically need to run away, basically. So that's mad.
Different conversation for a different day. That one, I don't know anything about
that. That's a shame. That I don't know. I don't know too much about it myself. I just know that. So, but
best of luck to him. Fair play.
So I'm joint second with Osman, but I'll put him first, and I'll come second for now until I box him again. But yeah, I'll give him first. He can take Cruz's place, and I'll stay second.
You can have it for now.
Yeah, you can have it for now until I take it off him.
I love it. That's the attitude you got to have though in this sport. Like it's a direct competition sport. It's not a team thing.
Yeah,
you have to be the best. You have to beat everyone around you. So
yeah, to be the best, you need to beat the best, don't you? So.
Exactly. I was going to try to avoid getting copyrighted from somebody, but it sounds more impressive when you say it. So how did that go then when you got, like you said, it was gold or bust, and then obviously you did lose to the Turkish guy in the semi-final. How were those emotions? Like, did you have to get your head back on for the bronze medal match? Or?
Yeah, well, obviously so I got beat off the Turk, so I had already got the bronze, so that was me boxing for the
of course,
silver, or the silver or gold. That was for the finals. So obviously, just getting beat, you come out, you're obviously going to be disappointed and stuff like that as well. Especially just like just a bit deflated, because obviously you wanted to go all the way. But once you've kind of sat down with like your mates and that, my teammates, my mates, and stuff like that, and obviously speaking to them, and you realise how well you've actually done there. But up until then, you're just obviously disappointed that you didn't go further, because you're just looking for the gold.
But then, how was coming back from the competition after that? Because obviously, like you said, there was still a massive achievement because you were the first Scot to get World Champs medal there.
Yeah.
So did somebody tell you that at the time when you're like, you've got the first Scot to get the medal, or did that sort of come later when that sort of got announced to you?
No, I knew that straight away. Like even after the quarter-final bout when I beat the Kazakh and I guaranteed myself a medal, I knew then that I was the first Scot to do it, because I just knew because of the Scotland coaches and stuff. Like that's kind of how they were driving us before that. They were telling us like we'll be the first to medal and stuff like that. That was kind of like that. That was what they were telling us to get us to push us on. So I knew that when I came out, and obviously I think at the time as well, after I had won that fight, I'm sure BBC had put that up. And on the news article and stuff like that, saying that I just won the bronze medal. So I knew that. So after that, I had a day off, and then I had to get my head back in, obviously, to box in the semi-final, which is hard as well when you're up that high. It's hard to then kind of focus yourself, and I think that like having that there kind of sorted me out for to then go all the way at the games rather than and stuff like that as well. Kind of experiencing that feeling, and then I knew how to go around it better for the games as well. So
class. Well, luckily for you, that's exactly what we're about to talk about next. 2022 Commonwealth.
5 fights in about 8 days or something like that. Yeah,
so that's one every 2 days. That's hard going. And then
especially when they break it up and you have like 2. So it'll be like 2 days you box. It'll be like you box one day, box the next day, and then you've got a rest for 2 days, and then you box. It just depends how your weight goes as well. So
do you know, that's one of my main questions. How do you maintain weight for 8 days? Because obviously, talk me through agreeing a weight for a fight and then making a weight. Because it's not like you just go on a scale and go, I'm roughly about 63 kgs right now.
Yeah.
Because you try to get as light as possible, don't you, for a fight?
Yeah. So
what's your walking around weight right now? Like, what are you weighing around like right now when you're not in?
Right now, I'm about. Obviously, I was trying to bring my weight down for Stranja, the tournament that I was meant to go to. So I was trying to keep it down in America, which was absolutely gutting, by the way. So I'm sitting now at about 65 and a half, 65 and a half, 66. But usually, like after the games and stuff, I went up to about 68. 60, 67, 68. So
and you fight around 62 and a half, 63, don't you?
63 and a half, yeah. So kind of need to lose more than half a stone usually. But I don't actually know how agreeing a weight comes about. I think like my brother would just look at me, like check my weight, and then he'd say, "Nah, you can make this," and I'd have to like go down that weight. You know what I mean? So
he's watching you wander around America, going, "There's no hope he's getting a 63."
Yeah. It's just like someone will just tell you that this is the weight you can make. Obviously down at GB and stuff like that, they've got a lot more. Like they've got the nutritionists and stuff like that. So like. And like realistically down there they can check kind of your body fats and stuff like that, and that can then indicate what weight you have to go you could make. But when I was younger it was just more like someone would tell me I could make that weight and then I'd try and make it, and I did every time. So
happy days. Are you having to do like the proper sweat sauna suits, just showering out like weight and things like that as well?
Yeah, so that's kind of what we do to get down. I usually put on like a kind of like a like the shiny jackets and stuff like that, like the jackets that'll make you sweat. I'll stick on something like that, train with that on, and then hopefully you just lose weight. Obviously you need to watch what you're eating and stuff as well, but
is it as brutal as it looks training in one of those jackets? Like, does it feel minging by the end of it?
Yeah, you've got like water dripping out your arms and stuff like that if you've done a big session, especially with like the proper sauna suits. They're it's mad how much sweat you can produce. Like,
I think I saw, was it McGregor that famously wore one of those, and it was like a bucket of water came out of it at the end.
Yeah, it's mad. That's what it's like. Like you'll finish your training session and then you'll like walk. When you start walking, like when you drop your arms and like it'll just be like water flying out the trying to sleeves and stuff. But
are you like halfway through? You thinking like I feel absolutely rank right now because I'm aware of what that water is? You're like, that's just pure sweat.
Yeah, like, it's minging. Obviously it's roasting as well usually because it's a sauna. So usually you can feel the heat. But usually you try and bring it down as much by obviously your food and stuff like that. You try and avoid doing that. Like that's probably when I boxed my best. Like at the Worlds and at the games. I was making weight easy just by eating like normal, just eating good food really, and I was on my weight, stuff like that. So I didn't really need to worry about the sweatsuits. I'd maybe wear a jacket or a jumper so I could eat more later on at the that's about it. That's when you can watch your best, when you don't need to worry about, you're not worrying about your weight, you're just worrying about fighting.
I suppose that must be it's one less thing to have, because do you get? I take it at the Commonwealth Games you're still getting weighed before every fight as well. Like it's not you just weighed on day one and that's you. Nah,
you're weighing in every fight. Yeah, so it kind of before, if you've got a couple of days off and stuff like that, you don't weigh in on those days. But whatever day you fight in, you weigh in the morning of that day. Yeah, so you need to make the weight through the whole thing.
I suppose it is then just easier just to keep it, like you say, just keep it off then because you're not worrying about it.
Yeah, just keep it down. I don't know how. It's mad as well. Just your body reacts differently. At the Commonwealth Games, I was just eating good food, but eating normally. And I think because I had the weight down like that much before it, that I was just sitting there, and I was perfectly fine to eat. But like my first tournament for GB, at Boxam, I had just finished. I had just came back for the Worlds as well, so I was heavy, so I had to lose a lot of weight, and then I was going to Boxam, weighing in at 63.5, fighting, and then after my fight, I was like 65, so I had to lose like 1.5 kilos, 2 kilo for the next again day. So,
That's wild, huh?
It's mad. I must have just been eating far too much as well after I had weighed in.
Mate, in fairness, if like you're getting obviously not as much as you're hitting the other person, but you're getting hit in the face. So yeah. I'd be like, if I got hit in the face for like what 9-10 minutes, and somebody went, "Oh, you've got to watch what you eat," I'd be like, "Absolutely not, mate. I'm having whatever I damn well please." But so like, how difficult is it for those 8 days to do those 5 fights? How difficult is it to stay in like a sort of headspace? Because obviously, like when I think of boxing and when I see boxing as a guy who's more on the outside than inside, I see Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. I see them fight once, maybe 3 times a year. Yeah. And then the rest of it, to me, like you see them, somebody's caught them in Selfridges or something, and like Tyson Fury's like 8 pints deep, and you're like, that man does not look like world heavyweight champion of the world. So yeah. When you're doing that for the best part of a week and a half, are you staying, obviously you spoke about the downtime, but are you still fight coming up, or are you on an off day, you're like, this is my off day, I'll get myself back in the headspace when I need to?
Yeah, kind of a bit of both. You're trying to, like, usually if you've got an off day, you've got enough time to like forget about it, but you're still obviously, it's still in the back of your mind that you've got a fight, or you're not taking the mick or anything like that, you're not doing anything silly. So you usually, it's all like, you can keep your mind in it, but for 5 days, when you're boxing 5 times and you've got 5 fights, it can be hard to kind of stay in the zone and stuff like that as well. Like at the games, in the final, I can remember like waking up and looking in the mirror, getting up and going for something to eat and that, looking in the mirror before I went to the venue to fight, and I can just mind thinking to myself, like, I can be doing with this being done now, like I can be doing with it, like, finishing boxing, like finishing these fights now, but you just kind of keep your mind in it and get to see it through.
So how much of a badass response that sounds of the guy who got gold was sat there thinking, going, can't wait for this to be over with, like I'm ready for an ice cream, like
I can't wait to just eat and chill with this gold medal. Sitting there and looking, I can actually remember it, looking myself in the mirror, I was like, this is a tough spot.
Mate, to come away with a gold medal on a day where you woke up and thought, maybe no. You were versing Wyatt Stanford.
Yeah,
you were the favourite for that match based on the commentary I heard.
Yeah.
So did that add a bit of pressure coming in as the favourite?
Hey, so sorry to interrupt the podcast. This is something I wanted to tell you about, and it's something I wanted to explain before I just go around throwing it everywhere, because this is something that was quite difficult for me to decide to do. It took a lot of deliberation and a lot of discussion with friends and family. I have now created an option where you can tip the podcast, or you can reward the podcast if you feel the podcast deserves it. There is an option down below where I went on the internet, I found this website that wants to reward content.
Because that was an interesting fight in the way of, you had the point deduction as well in the second round of the 3.
Yeah, in the semis, yeah. So, yeah, when I came out, obviously, favourite doesn't really mean anything anyway. So, like when I was just, I don't really bother about that. I just need to go in and get the business done. But yeah, I felt good in that fight. I was enjoying myself. All of my family, but like a few of my mates had came down for just that fight as well. So they were in the crowd for that. So I was just enjoying myself. And then like when I got the point off as well, obviously you get a wee bit of a shake and a scare, but once you find out the score in the corner.
Are they telling you in between rounds? Are they like, that round went to you? And
yeah, so they've got the screen there, so I knew that I was winning. So once I went back to my corner after getting that point off, and I knew I was winning, then I was chilling, really. That's where the Muhammad Ali stuff in that came first.
I was going to say, I can bring it up the final 10 seconds. Are we shimmy on the ropes? I like that.
Yeah,
It was
that's
in.
you need to enjoy
carry
yourself.
on. Yeah.
You need to enjoy yourself when you're in there as well, because you're getting punched in the face. So when you can enjoy yourself, you want to do it, don't you?
You are a psychopath. See, if I'm getting punched in the face, I'm not enjoying it. I'll be honest with you. But like, I can't get over that. So, like you said, you're getting shown the points. Do you feel when you're in a fight? Do you know when you're winning a fight in a fight that's maybe as close as because you were landing good shots, but you're not like he's not staggering and walking around. Like he's still coming on to you because that was his whole game plan, wasn't it? Because you're quite long for your weight class.
Yeah.
So do you still have that feeling to know enough about the boxing that you're like, I know I'm in control of this?
Yeah. In there, you roughly know if you're winning or not. Obviously, it depends on what the judges are looking at as well. But like when you're in there and you've kind of got the feeling of how you're boxing and kind of like the rhythm you're in and stuff like that as well, like what you're getting away with and stuff like that, then you can kind of take a guess if you're winning or not. Obviously, there can be times where you think you're winning and you're not, and the other way around is you're not winning and you're winning and stuff like that. But usually you know there or thereabouts if you're winning or not.
Here's an interesting. So this has just jumped to my mind thinking of that. So when we play, like I said, I've come from a rugby background. So when we play rugby and professional teams play rugby, they do a lot of analysis on the ref they've got as well. Because like you say, a judge can be looking at something totally different from a different judge. Do you guys think about that when you prepare for a fight as well? Do you think this judge traditionally looks more at ring positioning and like I don't know dominance of like how much people are walking onto a fight rather than walking like around the ring? So do you have to plan for that as well?
No, we don't actually. I've never really done that, but that's a good shout, to be honest. You could probably look at.
No, you can have it. Considering I got it wrong, which fight you were in for the final and semi-final, you can have that one for free.
Yeah, that's good. That no, we don't really do that. We analyse the opponent.
Right.
Well, at GB we analyse the opponents, but at the games I was just letting my brother kind of watch who I was fighting, and he'd speak to me on the phone and tell me. And then obviously the Scotland coaches and stuff like that, they'd watch and have a game plan as well. But at GB, I sit down with the coaches and watch it. But I actually prefer probably letting someone else watch it and just telling me what to do rather than me watching the person I'm going to fight.
I suppose because you can get your own idea as well. Because a coach looks at a fight totally different from the person who's going to be in the fight, I imagine. So
yeah, so I actually prefer just letting the coaches do it and telling me what to do, because when I'm sitting there watching it, you can just overthink stuff. But when like my brother watches who I'm boxing and gives me a game plan, then I can just go, right, I'll do that, and I'm not then worrying about anything else. I've not seen how he boxes or anything like that. I just have a rough idea of what to do, and then you figure it out when you're in there. I kind of prefer it that way.
I suppose that's quite good as well, because you don't have time, like you say, you don't have time to overthink it and sort of, because you might worry about something, like you might find he's got one disastrous punch and you spend your whole time worrying about it or something like that. Whereas if your brother's like, just keep your right hand up, you're like, sorted, just stand like that.
Yeah, that's kind of, I prefer it like that.
That's, I find that really interesting, especially in, like you say, at the games as well, because you've got 5 fights and everybody's in a sort of like a bracket. So, I know, like you said at the very start, like favourite means nothing when you walk into a ring. So you could be perfectly expecting to fight somebody, and then he actually got eliminated in the first round, and now you've got guys we've never heard of that are knocking people out. Yeah,
that's it. Like when I boxed in it was like the round of 16 as well. I boxed Shiva Thapa, the Indian, he's won. He has got a world bronze medal, not the year I got it, but he has got a world bronze medal before at a lighter weight, and he's won like 5 or 6 Asian medals. Like, so he's won like basically like the European Championships, Asian Championships for them. He's won like 5 or 6. He's got a few bronzes, silvers, golds. So
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a top boy. He's actually like, I think he's ranked above me now because of the way the rankings have went. So I think he might be ranked 2nd under Andy Cruz now, and then me and Osman are ranked 3rd. So he's moved up just because he's had the Asians and stuff. He won another Asian medal this year. I think it was either silver or bronze. He got.
Fair play, yeah.
So going into that fighting him, he was definitely the favourite for that against me. and then I lost the first round 5-0, and then the coaches told me that, and then I changed my game plan completely, and the second and third round I beat him. So
how does your mindset feel when you get told you've lost the first round 5-0?
I can kind of mind that, and I was kind of back. I can mind being like, well, I don't swear, but I can mind being like,
swear if you want. It's a Scottish podcast, you don't like.
That's fine. So I can mind being like, oh shit, I'm gonna be here. That's kind of what I can mind feeling like. But the coaches, like, I can mind that actually perfectly well. Like, Mike Keane and Craig. So Craig was like grabbing my head, like actually grabbing me like that, and he was like, "Come on, you can do it!" Like telling me how to box him. Mike Keane, before I was going to the ring, I can mind Mike Keane was slapping my chest, trying to like hype me up. He was like hitting me there, like, "Come on!" Right. And obviously, I went in and changed my game plan, and I beat him. So that was probably one of my favourite memories for the games as well. Was that fight, and kind of having that for the coaches, like that the Scotland coach, because they're there and they want you to do well as well. So you kind of they're not there just to be the coach. They're there to, like, they want to see you win the medal, and they've kind of got the same passion as you. So they were just in the same boat as me. They were trying to hype me up and get me going. So that was probably the best.
So do you get fights like that stay with you? Because obviously, because for me that would be quite a turning point. Like, you had such a big turnaround in the first round. Like, do you have fights that you then stay in your brain that you then like call upon for a sort of, I suppose, like an inspiration? It's like, if you do ever get in a situation like that again, you're like, I know I've come back from this before.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even just fighting in general, you've got like, I can mind like as a youth, I went to the Golden Gloves tournament in Serbia, and I won that. I won that twice as a youth. But the first time I went, I boxed a lad for Thailand, who I boxed him.
They build them differently out there. They're fighting.
Yeah. They're mad, and then they do mad stuff, don't they? They're all like Thai boxers and stuff and that as well. They're just fighters in general. So I boxed him in the semi-finals and I beat him, and he went on. Well, this is another thing about my brother as well. So he told me what to do against this Thai boy. He told me what to do. He was like, "You'll be all right. You'll be fine. Just go in, do this, do that." And when I came out, I phoned my brother, and he said to me that he was the Asian champion as a youth. So he had won the Asians as a youth. And then after I had beat him as well, we both went to the Worlds as a youth, and he won the Worlds as a youth. And then he went to the Youth Olympics and won the Youth Olympics as well. So like, when you're beating people like that, you have that in your mind then, like, and you know how well they've done. Like, you know you can beat anyone really on your day because you've got that in your mind that, like, I beat a guy that did win a world. Like, I won a world gold medal as a youth, and then obviously, like, even like beating Shiva Thapa and stuff like that. Then you kind of keep they people in your mind because you know how good they are, and you know you can beat the top caliber boys. Yeah. So yeah, you definitely keep they kind of fights in your mind for like going on and fighting other people, just for, it's kind of like a confidence boost, isn't it, really?
I can imagine. And then, like you say, it's like you're putting in elite performances to beat elite caliber opponents.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
And then, so now we've got to talk about the big one, the final, like the final of the games for you. Like you said, on that day, you were almost a bit, I'm ready not to see the back of the games, but I'm ready to have my final performance now. Like, I'm ready to get this done.
Yeah.
How was the day itself for you? Like, how was going to the venue and that? Was there like tension in the air, or were the coaches like quite good at sort of keeping you like another day at the office?
Yeah. Usually I'm quite calm anyway. So,
are you a music guy, and are you an angry music guy, or are you a calming music kind of guy?
Probably more angry, to be honest. I listen to like rap and that when I'm warming up. Kind of stuff. But it depends. Like, more just rap, to be honest. Sometimes I'll have like a chilled rap, and I like Kanye West. Like for when I'm warming up, I like old Kanye West. So
nice big paraphrase with old Kanye West there. No, like modern day Kanye West.
Yeah, like the old Kanye West. So like, but yeah, so obviously I always listen to music walking to the venue and stuff like that as well, so I kind of keep calm. But there is a bit of nerves there, obviously. And I've got torn cartilage in my wrist. So in the semi-final, I had caught. I think it was a shot that was in one of the highlights on the video, but I caught Wyatt Sanford with like a left hand round the side, and obviously I've always kind of had this injury since the first competition that I done with GB, that box arm competition. I hurt it there, and obviously I've just been kind of keeping it. What's the word? I've been like keeping on top of it anyway, just to try to do strength and stuff. But I caught Wyatt Sanford with that shot, and it was like the worst pain I've ever had in my wrist so far. So like for the final, I was warming up on the pads, and I was hitting the pad, and that like I could just feel it going right through my wrist. So like there was a bit of kind of concern there with that. Yeah, I think you can kind of see it in the final fight as well. I was trying. You can kind of see that I'm holding back for letting my left hand go rather than just kind of throwing it like I normally would. But other than that, it was kind of just calm and just I'm always kind of calm anyway. I just chill out and listen to music before the fight.
And then that's well. And then as the fight was going on, obviously, like you said in the semi-final, you got your coaches talking to you. Are your coaches, like, when you're going through the final and you're having the performance you're having, are your coaches telling you, like, if you go out and do the exact same thing again for another 3 minutes, you've got the gold, or are they really playing it down? They're like, don't even talk to me about medals, like, just do the same thing again, just go out and fight.
No, they kind of, the first one, so, like, obviously, in the first and second round, I had won it, so they were like, I had won the fight then, I knew I had won the fight, so they were like, just go and didn't do anything stupid. Aye, just didn't do anything stupid. Just didn't get caught. And then obviously that's how they're going. Like just keep doing what you're doing, and you've got gold. And then I went out and I got cut, didn't I? I got a cut, and then it all went out the window. I was like trying to just get away and avoid everything, and then that's when I caught a big shot. I got caught a shot when I was trying to pull away. He caught me with a shot and knocked my gum shield out, and I got a count. So then, and that was in like the last 10 seconds. So then I was like, oh shit, like this could have messed it up. But you didn't really look at everything else that happened in that round. It was still close. It was just that he caught me that big shot, and it makes it then look like he's on top. But and obviously then I had the cut and stuff like that as well. So, but I was an elbow. I got a cut for his elbow.
I was gonna say it was because he sort of like skimmed it, didn't he? He went just mistimed it.
He threw shots and caught me. Like he came through his shot, caught me with an elbow, and then that was my first cut as well that I've had in a fight. So I was
good time to get one though when all the cameras are on.
Yeah, that's what I said. I've always, if I was to get a cut, it'd be in a final where I was winning.
Everybody's trying to get the cameras there, and you've just got blood dripping. You're like an absolute warrior though. Like everybody be like, this guy's hard as nails.
Looks good for the photo, doesn't it?
That's class. Right, getting that gold medal must have been so good. And then how did it feel when that bell went at the end?
Yeah, just kind of, it's like a relief in it. Like it's all done now. And then obviously when you get your hand raised as well, it's just different level. Obviously you've got at the games, it was like you had all the media attention like that you don't usually get at all these other competitions as well. So it's just completely different for anywhere else that you go. That's why it's probably my favourite competition that I've ever been to. Just with having all the media attention and stuff like that, and everyone can watch it. And because it was in England, all my family could come down as well. Like I've never really,
it's almost a home games, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never really had a major competition where all my family could come and watch. So it was definitely a great experience. That.
And then how many days did you wear the medal for after? Because I'd still be wearing it now if it was me.
Oh, I went straight in the bag, to be honest.
Did that?
Yeah.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
I carried. In fact, I had it on for a few hours when we were out. Like when we had came out of the venue, so we had went to the, I think was it a Spoons. So we had went to a Spoons that was in the venue.
That's class. I love that.
The coaches, all the boys, and we all had a pint together, and we had the medals. So. And then after that, that's when I got took off, put in the bag, and that was it. Wore it the next day for some interviews, and then it goes in the box up there.
Getting it frame's a good excuse, not enough to wear it though. That's fair dude. I'd have loved to see. That would have been a really good photo actually if you'd managed to get that. See if you'd use it the Spoons on your medals.
Yeah, that would
You
have
just
been
had
good.
that. That'd have been a good photo.
I don't know if we even got one of that. I think we got one in the venue where it was all with the medals, but we should have got one with the pints.
Mate, you're just enjoying it. You deserved a bit of time off, and like you said, you've had more cameras there than you normally get, so you're probably a bit sick of seeing cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, well, we've spoken about the past. Now we've got to talk about the future. You mentioned it very briefly at the start. You've got that lovely bit of nice veneered wood waiting for something to go on there. 2023 and the future plan for Reese Lynch, soon to be world #1 boxer when everybody else finally falls to the magic right hand. How's what's the goals and the plans looking like coming up for you?
So I'm training now. We're back in training, obviously, for the start of the year. We've had a few
You're meant to have a competition next week.
Yeah, so I was meant to leave on Saturday, but obviously that fell through just with kind of Russia and Belarus kind of stuff. So I don't know what will be next, but I should have a competition coming up very soon. And then obviously the first major competition that I've got coming up is the European Games in June. It's in June. And,
Summer.
Yeah, summer. in the summer. In Poland. So that's the European Games, which is a qualifier for the Olympics as well. So that's the big one basically. That's a huge competition, and that I want to do well in.
And we go in gold or bust again.
Yeah, gold or bust as well. Main objective is to get a medal anyway. Definitely a medal, because that's how you qualify. But gold all the way.
I love that. I think it's actually quite inspiring as well, the attitude you have of like gold or bust, and I do have a lot of respect for it as well, because it's a thing that people can really misconstrue as arrogant as well. But like you say, you need a medal to qualify for the big one, so you have to take that attitude in.
Yeah. Well, if you're not thinking like you're going to get the gold, then you're not going to get a medal at all. You need to be focused on getting the gold, really. You need to be focused on going all the way, or you're not going to get very far.
Exactly that. And now, before we get on to one of the fan favourite sections of Under the Team Bus, I've got gold medalist, Commonwealth Games. There's a massive talk in the world of boxing that's been going on the past couple of years, and it's become affectionately known as influencer boxing.
Yeah. And
I'd like to get your thoughts on influencer boxing. Is it good for the sport of boxing, or is it not? Because that seems to be the big debate.
I think some of it's just stupid. Some of the people that are in the ring.
Have you seen that thing about tag team boxing that they're doing at the next one?
No, I've not seen this.
Mate, apparently, there's going to be like 2 folk, or 4 folk in the ring.
That's just mental, isn't it? That's just wrestling shit. That's
WWE. That's not.
Just tag team matches and that's mental. But I suppose some of it's good as well. It's kind of gets the eyes on boxing.
That's their big argument, isn't it? It's like we bring millions of people to boxing, but
yeah, but it just depends who's boxing. Like Jake Paul, he's not good, but he's not like some of the other YouTube boxers that I've seen boxing that are terrible. Suppose you need to keep training to get better, don't you? But they shouldn't be getting the platform that they're getting, I don't think. Maybe like Jake Paul and stuff like that. He's done well, kind of just for being up there. But some of these other guys, shocking.
I think it's a caveat, isn't it? It's like he's getting an audience, but it's not a boxing audience. He's brought an audience with him.
Yeah.
So go on then. I'm gonna have to take, because it's like having an open goal and not taking the shot. Would you beat Jake Paul in a boxing match?
Oh, I'd beat Jake Paul 100%. Jake Paul.
Would you beat KSI in a boxing match?
I'd ping KSI as well. Yeah.
Logan Paul, even though he fought Mayweather.
Yeah. I should beat them. They're a bit bigger than me, to be fair. Everything on in them, but I should be able to beat them boxing wise.
I love that. That's class. And then, like you said, some of them are no idea how they managed to get in a professional boxing ring.
Yeah. Some of them, like they're probably the bit like the Pauls, the 2 Pauls. You can see that they're a bit schooled. Like they've actually must have done boxing.
But they were getting trained off Floyd's guy at one point, were they not? Or it was Sugar Shane Mosley or something they were getting trained off?
I don't know who they were getting trained by. But they're definitely, you can see that they've been taught how to box. Like they've maybe been to a gym or something when they were younger, because they've got a bit of shape about them. They're not terrible. KSI is not very good, but I like KSI as a guy, but he's not very skilled. He's a bit of a
He's
scrapper.
just got that dog, isn't it? He's just like,
he's got that
I
dog
refuse
in
to
him,
die.
He's just up for a scrap, to be honest, which fair play to him.
Mate, braver than me, I'd get my ass handed to me in any fight, so I'm not going in. I've had so much fun doing this, and then, like I say, you've got so much more to come. I think I said at the very start, you're barely into your 20s, like you're cracking it, and I can't wait. I've had so much fun doing this. We now just get to do a really fun bit before we send ourselves on our way home, and this is called the Under the Team Bus section, right? So it's just first name from the team. You can have Scotland Camp. If there's somebody at Spring Hill that fits it on, they say them and just fire it out. But it's like nice, easy one that gets you started, just to sort of warm you up. And it's like, who's the most determined? Like, who's just like wire focused the whole time?
Everyone really. Everyone that I'm around is kind of, especially like GB, like everybody's got the same mentality. But if I was to pick someone that's like the hardest, not the most determined, but kind of like the hardest trainer that I've ever seen, would be Kieran Smith. He's probably like the hardest trainers I've ever seen.
Who's the biggest practical joker? Who's the biggest practical joker in the gym? Just like constantly pulling pranks.
It's got to be the twins down at GB. Ewan and Gardner. They're probably like maybe not a practical joker, but they're like the mouthiest.
Who's the most naturally skillful boxer you've ever seen at training? Like, you know, somebody like you were talking about, the Pauls just had shape in that, like picked it up. They just look like they picked it up.
Probably Sam Hickey, maybe. My mate Sam. Yeah. He got a gold medal at the games as well. He's probably like he's shit hot. He's shit hot as well.
Shit hot. That's that. You see, if you get the Scottish person telling you you're shit hot, and you're good at it, like that is as high as praise goes. Who's the most clumsy? Like, who's the person just like forgets their gloves before they come to training or something? Like?
Probably me.
Really?
Probably me, yeah.
Bag's not packed the night before. Is anybody's guess as to what's in there?
Just throwing stuff in. I went to a camp up there and forgot my wraps and stuff like that. So I'm probably actually the worst for that. Yeah.
Nightmare.
But then most boxers are like that, to be honest. You'll find that.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to tell you no. Like, you can be like, I'm not bringing it up. Like, fair enough. We're not training. This might be quite a different one because you guys are all quite well dedicated. Who's most up for a night out? Like, who's the second you like rest day? But there's that one name that pops up in the chat. It's just like beers ?
Yeah. No. I'll probably say after all the fighting's done.
Yeah. When the coaches said it's okay, like preface this.
Yeah,
like this
is. Can actually go for a night out. I'd probably say Tyler Jolly. Jolly. Sam Hickey maybe as well. I reckon Sam's up for it as well.
If he's shit hot, he's allowed a pint. That's my real. Who's got the best fashion sense? Who comes up with just a bit of spicy clothing and you're like, I respect them?
Probably Sam as well. I like Sam's got a good style.
He's doing well. He's shit hot, good on the beers, and he's got good fashion sense, man.
He's got good fashion sense, that man.
Right, vice versa. Who's got the worst fashion sense? Who rocks up and you're like, you got dressed in the dark?
I need to say the twins, just because Ewan and Gardner and Wesley, they've got the worst.
Their mods just put one big pile of clothes on like where they put the iron in. They just take what they want.
They've got they're farmers back home as well, so they've got that style.
I'm in like South Scotland. So like, I'm proper farmers country. Like, I'm in the borders. So when you say farmer, I know exactly the type of cat. Like anyway, like hearts as good as gold, and they're lovely folk. But like you see, just some stuff just goes straight over. Right, who's the most gullible? Like who's like you could tell them orange is written on the ceiling and they'll check.
Maybe I just want to say Sam for all of these, to be honest. But we're gonna go probably the stupidest. Like not stupid in a way, but like he's just silly, like funny silly. Do you know what I mean? Like he comes out with silly stuff, and that was especially when we were at the games. Sean Lazzarini, he was like the class clown, kind of like that.
I know what you mean, exactly that.
Yeah.
When he's taking names on the table tennis table as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'd say Sean.
Who's the best dancer? Who's the one that's in the nightclub and just looks comfortable in the middle of the dance floor?
Tyler Jolly.
Is he just smooth with it?
He's got all the snake hips, doesn't he? So.
Oh, love that. Who's the worst dancer? Who looks like they're not in control of their own body?
Nearly all of them, to be honest. Every single one. Sam, the twins, me.
Do you never just panic and just like I'll just box in 2 foot just like I'm skipping?
Yeah, just give me shimmy or something.
You can't call yourself a bad dancer. I saw you in that semi-final. You were comfortable.
I know. I was getting it to his shoulder. Shimmy.
Who's the future coach? Who's somebody that's like they just look like they're gonna pass on, like they're just ready to pass on knowledge and help others?
I'd probably say Tyler Jolly. I'd say he's probably one of the like when I'm fighting as well. See like the shouts and stuff like that. He's usually spot on with the stuff that he shouts. So I'd say after he's just turned pro now as well. So after his pro career, I reckon he'll be a coach, and I think he'll be a really good one as well.
Class. That's another interesting question. It's completely out of under team bus, but like, do you hear that when people shout during the rounds? Like, can you hear folk like your corner talking to you?
Yeah, you can usually hear stuff. Depends how loud they shout. He had like a megaphone voice. His voice just went, so you could definitely hear. But like, I can hear usually like when we were with Scotland and stuff like that, especially with Scotland, like the Scotland boys. You can hear them shouting like mad. I think it's just kind of the passion as well that they've got. So like when you're in the ring, you can hear most stuff. Some stuff you won't hear and you won't remember, but you can hear them.
I was gonna say, because it must be quite hard to sort of focus on the person in front of you, but then like not only hear it, but like sort of register it, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, definitely you can hear them, especially during like rests and stuff. Like maybe like the referee's breaking it up.
Yeah.
You hear them.
Or do they like, try to time it and like breaking the fight, just sort of throw it in?
Yeah. So if the referee's breaking it up, or maybe just before the bell rings for the next round, you've stood up off your stool and the coaches have sent you back out. Like you hear like shouting it.
Class, fair play. Right, where were we? Hard as nails. Who's somebody that is like you're watching them in sparring and you're like that punch should have dropped you and they just like walk it off?
Most of them as well. Like Sam can take. He's tough. He'll go with people. Me, I'd say I'm hard as nails as well.
I love it. You've got to say it. Mate, I've seen you take punches. I agree with it. Like I back it.
Yeah. There's some other people as well. Just kind of, I'm trying to think of someone that's like that just takes can take like Big Pat Brown and stuff like that. He just kind of walks through stuff. He's tough.
Like Terminator scenes, just keep walking straight.
Yeah, just keep walking and then walking people down. So there's a good few people, but probably one of the biggest ones as well is a Ukrainian boxer, Kizniak. He's at 80 kilo. That's how he boxes, is just walking forward and throwing loads of shots and taking shots. He's probably like the toughest guy that I've seen boxing.
That must be such a that must be so demotivating mentally if you're throwing your biggest shots.
Yeah, and he's just
walking towards you, like eating them, and you're like, all right. Yeah, I'd be looking at my corner. I'd be like, it's very clear I'm not going to win this one. Could you just like throw the towel? Like I know this is not going to end well for me. We might as well just like head home. Like, this is the difference between you and me in terms of elite mindset. I'm already asking folk to throw a towel for me, and I've not even thrown a punch. Who is the best tunes? Like, who's the one in the gym when you're training? You're like, I hope he picks up the speaker.
Tyler Jolly, probably.
Is he?
Yeah,
just tune. Right,
yeah.
Final one. Who hogs the mirror the most post-training? Like, who's the one that's making sure they all look good for the cameras?
Nearly every boxer. Sam's like that. Sam, he loves himself.
There you go. Under the team bus, done and dusted. Reese Lynch, mate. Thank you so much for this. Now, to send my lovely listeners on the way home, we like to ask them the final question. You've got 3 songs you've just celebrated. You've just won. Let's pretend the example you just won your games medal, or let's even do better. When you've got your Paris gold, and then you're just about to head to the Spoons for a collective pint, and you're going to get the whole. You've got 3 songs to get the boys ready for a night out for some well-deserved beers. What 3 songs are you picking and why?
I'd go Sophie Ellis, Baxter, Murder on the Dance Floor. That's
classic song, love that. Big fan.
Because it's a classic, that's the one to get you up for it, innit? probably this is one for like Tyler and that as well. I'd probably put on Marvin Gaye, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. A bit of soul.
Great song, love that.
Bit of soul, a bit of classic soul, just to get the soul power up before you go out on a night out.
Christmas night out, it's going to be class already, I can tell. It's going to be grand.
Calvin Harris, I'm Not Alone, maybe.
I just get it really ready. I like that.
Yeah, that's like the classic tunes, or maybe Womack and Womack, Teardrops, that kind of vibe.
I like you're bringing a bonus song as well. I love that as well. People can get a bit. You've got the pop to get the people up and get the people singing. Soul music to just get everybody on like a complete same wavelength, and then club music and optional extras to get everybody ready for it. That's class.
A bit everything there.
Reese, you've smashed it. My listeners will tell you, absolutely smashed that. Where can people follow you to watch your incredible journey unfold?
So go on my Instagram. Usually I post on my Instagram. I've got Twitter and stuff as well. My Instagram is Reese7, REESE. So it's the American way. And you can
tell by your accent, obviously.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. My mum spelled it American. She thought it should be cool. And then I never got. When I was a kid, I couldn't get into it with my name on it. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, just the normal stuff.
No worries, and they're all down in the description below. Lovely listeners, once again, thank you so much for joining me for an episode of Refuse to Fail. I've had a great time. I hope Reese has had a great time. I hope you guys have had a great time. Most importantly, the only thing left for you to do now, follow Reese, follow the podcast, like, share, tell your mum, tell your dog, tell somebody you walk past in the street that you had a great podcast last night. Tell them how much fun it is listening to Reese and his journey and how he got to where he is today and where he's going to go in the future. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you next week for another episode. Goodbye.